What's up, everybody? How you all doing today? Just got back from another ride, and in case you didn't see yesterday's video, I kind of went over a little bit exactly what I'm doing here with some of these videos. So this is day number 2, like I was saying the other day on yesterday's video about consistency. Oh, look, my lights. Right there. About consistency is, you got to be able to go every single day. And today I went a little bit more. Yesterday I went, it was about 24 miles. And today, looks like I'm setting about the same. Looks like I'm setting at about 24 miles. 24.21 miles there for the day. And that's not too bad, but today's ride was a little bit different. Yesterday when I went on my ride, I kind of rode a little bit around town, I guess you could say. Not necessarily all around town, but I was also using this bike. It's a fixed gear bike, and basically what fixed gear is you can see here in the back, it's got one gear. There's no freewheel on this thing. See, there's no freewheel hub there. It's just fixed. And so basically what happens is when the pedals are turning, when the wheel's turning, the pedals are turning. There is no kind of like in between, I guess you could say, like no freewheeling. So if that wheel's moving, your legs are moving, and sometimes it gets kind of hard. And as you can see, mine is a brakeless fixie. Don't have brakes on it, so I mean basically what you're relying on here is your leg power or doing stoppies and things like that. Whereas today's ride, I went and took my road bike here. It's a full carbon road bike, and you can see here it's got the derailleur on it. So it's got it's got all the fancy stuff. That right there with the little Q on there is my power meter, and helps provide a bunch of different very important information. But it's a full carbon road bike. It's like the same kind of bikes that you see them using riding in the Tour de France, like the pros use. That's what that is. Now, however, the pros, when they're riding on their bikes in the Tour de France, they have plenty of other gizmos on there, I guess you could say, that make their bikes a little bit lighter. But still, even in the pro ranks, their bike has to weigh a certain amount to be able to ride it. It can't be too light. So, I'm sure there's probably somebody out there that's had a bike that's so light that they probably had to add weight to it. I'm sure it's happened before. But so yeah, like I was saying in yesterday's video, consistency is key. It's something you got to do every day. Do just a little bit every day. Now, like I said, yesterday's ride was mostly in town. I kind of went up like some little elevation. I mean, it wasn't much like for climbing wise. And then today, I actually went out a little bit outside of town, where I live at, and got into the mountains a little bit. Did a nice little climb, nice little descent. Nothing too major. It was about 90 minutes, and that's about what I did yesterday. And that's not too bad. Like I said, I'm just getting started. I'm just starting back out. And like I was saying in yesterday's video, one of the most important things when you're starting, especially if you're starting back out from scratch, you got to be smart about it. And I just went 90 minutes, 2 sessions of 90 minutes, both of them about 24 miles, 25 miles, right around there. That's not too bad. That's something I know that I can handle. If you don't have any, your base fitness is nothing, say you've just been lifting weights, you don't do much cardio, you want to start out a little bit slower than that. You may not want to go that much, especially if you're not used to biking. And if you've got a bike, you should, one thing is important when you're doing a lot of miles like that is you got to have a proper fit. Now, if you're just starting out, you may not know what that means. If you're riding a bike from like a department store, basically what fit has to do with is it has to do with the height of your seat, and in relation to your legs and your body and the rest of the bike. So and it also has to do with like the stem length on your bike as well. I mean, a lot of things play into how a bike fits. So it's not just the seat height. It's also things like this, the stem, and just different things like that. So you know, that's why you should buy a bike at one of your local bike shops. Depending on what kind of riding you're getting into. If you're just starting out, you really need to think about what kind of bike that you want to ride. There are different kinds of bikes out there, you know. A lot of it depends on where you live and things like that. And like I said, where you plan on doing most of your riding. If you're just riding around your neighborhood, you could probably just get like a nice little cruiser, like a beach cruiser or something like that. Maybe a little hybrid road bike, something that's a little more comfortable ride. It sets a little more upright, as opposed to like my road bike here. When you're riding in, you're down. You know, you're down hunched over a lot. So it's something you want to think about. You know, you should probably head to your local bike shop to check out all the different options there are, because there are many different options. Like I said, I've got a couple of bikes here, and you know, there's a range of price. Like this bike right here, my carbon road bike here. I mean, this thing is like, it's like a $10,000 bike. Okay, it's very expensive. Whereas my other bike, my fixed gear bike here, it weighs a little more, but it's made of chromoly steel, so it's a little bit heavier when it comes to like the weight of the bike and things like that. So things to take into consideration. But the carbon is more stiff, so you feel more of the road. Whereas the chromoly steel is really soft and it takes a lot of the vibration out of the road. So that's something to do with comfort too. Their frames are also made different. So it depends on what kind of riding you're doing. You know, if you live in a mountainous area, you got a bunch of bike trails and you want to get into that, you probably need to look into a mountain bike. And you know, there's so many different kinds of bikes out there that it really depends on what you want. And that's why you should head to your local bike shop and check out the selection that they've got and spend just a little bit more money. Because like I said, if you say you buy one of the department store bikes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I started with a department store bike. I mean, not only when I was a kid, but even as an adult, when I got back into riding bikes and everything, I started with a department store bike. There's nothing wrong with that. I think I spent like $80 and bought like a little, I don't know, it was kind of like it wasn't quite a cruiser, but it wasn't quite a road bike. And I was riding that, and immediately, you know, I think the next week I went in and bought a mountain bike from a local bike shop after my wife had went and tracked down this shop she went to with her cousin, I believe. And so, you know, next thing you know, I had a pretty nice mountain bike. Well, I was using it to commute to work, and I ended up riding more miles, like basically on road, when I should have got a road bike. Road bikes are thinner, they're faster. They got thinner wheels and they're faster. They roll faster on the ground. So I eventually went out and bought a fixed gear bike. It wasn't this bike. I do have it, and you'll probably see it in one of my later videos. And it was an aluminum fixed gear bike, and it has a flippable hub where you can flip the wheel, and it's got a free wheel on one side, and you know, you have the brakes and everything. And so I was using that to commute to work, and that's how I started, you know. And like a fixed gear bike like this one right here, you can find a lot of these fairly cheap. Even you know, at your local bike shop, you know, chromoly steel one, and they've got various different levels of those as well. Like I said, it all kind of depends on what you want for your cycling needs, for your fitness needs. So that's why you should head to your local bike shop. And like I said, they can get you fixed up with everything. And like my carbon road bike, you know, like I said, it's got all those gears and everything. It takes a lot of maintenance to keep it maintained. Whereas the chromoly steel bike, I mean, you just clean up the chain, make sure all your pedals are on tight, and just those kinds of things. Your wheels are on tight. It doesn't take much maintenance other than cleaning the chain, really. And so you know, you gotta think about things like that. But also that's the one thing I want to say about the department store bikes. You know, a lot of them, if you're spending $50, $100, $150 buying a bike like that, chances are it's not the best quality. It's just like a cookie cutter thing. They got these department stores. They go to the lowest bidder, whoever makes it the cheapest for them to have made. That's who they go with. Okay, so by the time, say you ride one of those bikes and you have to go replace a chain on it or have it adjusted or anything like that, like any of the gear adjustments, if you don't know how to do that stuff yourself, you're probably looking at a lot of shop minimums, probably about $20, $25 to do that minimum. So then you might be looking at $50, you know, say you need new cables and things like that in your bike for the brakes. Okay, I mean, you're looking at even more money. You're already spending more money on maintenance going somewhere for a $50 bike or a $100 bike, where you're just as well to go to your local bike shop and purchase a bike that is say $500. You know, and yes, I know that sounds like a lot of money when you're starting off, but if you pick the right bike for your kind of riding, you got to think that it's really an investment in your life and your health and your fitness. And so that $500 bike though, however, you buy it from your local bike shop, they more than likely, a lot of local bike shops do it, they'll do maintenance for free on the bike. You know, they won't charge you maintenance. Now you will obviously have to pay for parts, and that's how my local bike shop is. Both of the bike shops that are here in my area, that's how they are. You buy the labor. Basically, the labor is free when they go to work on your bike. Now there are some things that they do have to charge labor for, like if you've got a mountain bike and it's got all those shocks and they have to do a bunch of adjusting, that takes a lot of work, so they do charge extra for that. But when it comes to like a lot of just the general maintenance, they don't really charge for that. You're just paying for usually just parts. So that's definitely one thing. One reason why you should head to your local bike shop if you're like I said, if you're taking up cycling or anything like that. And like I said, I was saying in yesterday's video, consistency is key. This is my second day in a row. I've got to toss in some strength training maybe tomorrow, so I may not get very long of a ride. But that's one of the things. Consistency is key, and make sure if you're going to take on something like cycling, make sure you buy a good quality bike from your local bike shop, and because they can be very helpful to you. I know there's a lot of places that you can buy nice bikes too, like you know, like outdoor sporting goods stores, those big box retailers as well, and a lot of times they'll have something good for the average consumer, you know, if you're just getting into cycling. But you know, let's remember, if you take your bike in there to have them fix it, a lot of them, that's where they make some of their money at, is in labor rates and things like that, where your local bike shop, a lot of them will take care of that for you. So that's why you should probably definitely head to your local bike shop if you have one. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you like what you've seen in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you know somebody else that could use some of these average cycling tips, invite them to come visit us here on my page. I am the Pedaling Pugilist. You have a good day.
Thank you.